Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team of eXp Realty. And the other week, my dad had a part go out on his car, actually to do with the wiper switch. And he went to a local repair shop, and the price that they wanted to charge to replace it was really high. And he's on a fixed income, and that's just wasn't really the route he wanted to go or what he was looking for at that time. And I went on YouTube for him, and I actually found an instructional video on exactly how to replace that part. I was able to order the part off of Amazon, got the part, and I was able to change it for him within about 30 minutes. Saved him hundreds of dollars. So it really kind of got me thinking and became the topic of what I'm talking to you about today. With so much information available online, do you really need an agent for a real estate transaction, whether it be buying or selling? And as I thought about that, it made me realize that I think the more important question is, or the better question, isn't do you need an agent? It's should you use an agent in your particular case? Do you need an agent? No, you can do it completely on your own. It just switches to the point where I was just saying, should you though? And that really depends how much risk you're willing to take on your own and how much work you're willing to do yourself. Now, if we break that out between buyers and sellers, if you look at a buyer, I'm not really sure why you wouldn't use an agent. In the vast majority of cases, you're not paying for that agent services directly. Yes, you could argue that if the seller wasn't paying a commission that covered the buyer's agent, the price of the home would be lower. Research is out on that, on whether or not that would actually be the case, and that's not the direction I'm really going in this video. But for the most part, whether it's a resale home or new construction, and yes, you can use an agent for new construction purchases as well, and many times that's an area where you should use one because that agent's 100% representing your interest, the buyer, whereas the sales agents, they're going to do everything they can to help, but understand they work for the builder. So ultimately protecting the builder is their primary objective. Now, on the sales side, you've got a few different options here. And in both cases, it comes down to what suits your needs and what your requirements are. And those are different for everyone. So if you look at the two extremes from a seller side, you can sell it on your own, FSBO, for sale by owner, or you can employ the services of a full service broker that's going to give you all the bells and whistles, everything that you need. And there are varying degrees in the middle. Things in the middle would be companies such as Redfin, where it's a very flat fee, a very low percentage on the listing side, or companies that offer flat fees. And it's important to remember in those cases that we're not necessarily comparing apples to apples. What I mean by that, on those flat fee companies that charge you a specific fee, did you know that you will pay that fee whether the home sells or not? That's what they're going to charge you for the service they're providing. With a company like Redfin, yes, you're only going to pay the listing percentage if the house sells, but the agents that list the house are employees of Redfin. They're salaried. So they don't have a vested interest. They're paid either way, whether the home sells or not. And we could go into an entire discussion on those, but it's just understanding that there's different levels of service available. And what it's going to come down to is what suits your needs the best. The most important thing, honestly, comes down to disclosures and liability. I know of several people that have sold their home themselves very successfully. They've done it just fine under the right circumstances and the right market conditions. I've also heard stories from my office on sellers that have sold a home themselves only to find out that some state required disclosures were not completed because they didn't know about them or weren't completed correctly, which opened them up to liability. And the buyer came back at them and it ended up costing them an awful lot of money. So again, everyone's situation is unique. Everyone's situation is different. Now, one of the things with us and the way we like to do things is to actually sit down with a buyer or a seller and truly understand their needs. What are their objectives? What are they looking for? And help them develop the plan that works best for them. Most of the time, they ultimately choose they want to work with us, which is great. But in many occasions, that hasn't been the case. It's not what suits that seller or that buyer the best. And if that's the case, we've advised them of that. So whoever you're talking to, just make sure that you can get some practical advice and information that isn't self-serving the interests of the agent. That they can go through all of your unique requirements and what you need and offer you all of the different options, or at least be willing to discuss all of the options and explain the pros, cons, and differences. So hopefully that helps a little, gives you a few insights into my thoughts on the topic. And again, ultimately what you decide to do is going to be what's best for you. If you have any questions or you'd like to discuss this further, please feel free to give me a call. You can reach me at 888-447-9650, or go ahead and shoot us an email and we'll get back to you. In the links directly below this video or in the description, there are links to a couple of other related topics that I've covered lately with regards to iBuyer services and things like that that you may also find useful. Until next time, this is Andrew Smith with the Andrew Smith team at eXp Realty.